Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm here to give you 5 talking points from the game against Cardiff where Luton got a 1-0 home win. Before I do that, drop a like on today's video. Can we hit a like target of 125 likes? It helps push the video to a wider audience. Comment below what you learned from the game and what do you think we need to improve on going forward. Yes, it was a very ugly win, but of course there can always be improvements in every game we play. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It is free to do so. So, talking point number 1. And I'll start it off by saying the medical side of things at Luton Town Football Club. I didn't want to be negative. And people may say, Lewis, you're being over dramatic about this. But honestly, Alfie should not have come on for those final 2 minutes. And now I know it's only 2 minutes, but when I was watching him like run around, hopping along, it looked like he could have done further damage to himself. It was a nasty challenge, whatever it was. I think it was more of a coming together, really. He came off the pitch. He didn't look too good. You know when the stretcher comes on, you know you worry a little bit. And how Alfie is with Luton, you know, he's very important in the way we like to play our football. You know, he's the main focal point in the set pieces. He's creating one of the most chances in the championship for a reason. So you don't want to lose a key player like Alfie. So why on earth did the medical staff allow him to come onto the pitch? I saw a quote and Edward said that the medical staff were happy to allow him back on, and so was Alfie. How can they have been happy with what we were seeing? You know, fair enough, if he was, you know, had to run it off, I could understand, but I don't think throughout the whole 2 minutes he was able to run it off. And even towards the end of when the referee finally blown his whistle, Alfie went back to the floor, the medical staff ran over, and he ended up walking straight to the tunnel. He didn't actually go around the stadium and clap the fans. So that tells me that it was actually a little bit more serious than it originally thought. So I just thought it was a really stupid decision, and we can now understand as fans why we keep having these injury problems, especially in the defensive areas when we're making decisions like that. It may sound over dramatic. I know I'm not a medical expert, but I know when a player's running and I know when a player's hopping along, and that was hopping along and that was not good enough in my opinion. You know, we need to make the decision, we need to look after our players and go, no, you're not coming on. We've got 2 minutes, you know, defend for our lives for 2 minutes with 10 men. Because having him on the pitch wouldn't have made a difference anyway, because it isn't like he's going to run after a player 50 yards to tackle him, is he? So he was playing with 10 men regardless if he was on the pitch or off the pitch. And that kind of moves me on to talking point number 2. And that's talking about Menji and Amari Bell. Both players, by the way, have put in fantastic performances since they've come back from their injuries ahead of schedule, which is great to see. However, I don't think they can play 90 minutes in a row, and I think it'd be very stupid of Luton to allow that to happen. Now, we may actually have no choice to do this, because with Alfie getting injured, Amari Bell may move to that left wing back role, which then may suggest that he's going to play another 90 minutes. Menji as well also played another 90 minutes. We've got the likes of Tom Holmes available to come and, you know, replace him. I feel like we need to make a change. We have to do something. I feel like in the last 3-game week we looked exhausted, we looked tired, and we didn't change the starting 11 around as much as I would have liked. And even at the start of the season, Edwards came out and said the championship games come quick and fast. I have to manage the squad quite well. I may have to make more changes than normal. Then now make these types of changes. These are when you've got to do it, because realistically, are the Luton players going to train? Probably not. You know, today's Thursday, the day after the match. They're going to have a full day probably worth of recovery. They may do like 1 or 2 drills, but nothing too taxing on the body. Friday, they will be travelling to Middlesbrough. They may do a session in the morning, but realistically, it'd be a light session. Travel up to Middlesbrough, and then the game is at Sunday morning, Sunday lunchtime. So Saturday lunchtime. So there's not really going to be proper training sessions in regards to this, and that's of course due to the fact that the EFL put this schedule up. It's not happened before. It's going to happen again. just before the year finishes. We've got another 3 games in a week, so we need to manage our players correctly, and I don't want our players breaking down because we keep forcing them to play 90 minutes. They don't have to play 90 minutes now. We can even put Victor Moses as a left wing back, although I'm not a fan, and even put Tom Holmes in for Menji, and then both players are rested, and then they can come on towards the back end of the game, or they can start the game but then come off during the second half. We've got to make these correct decisions, and I just pray to God that they don't break down. Yes, there's an international break afterwards, but not the point. Bell's probably going to get called up to Jamaica, and Menji could potentially get called up for the England under-21. So I am a little bit concerned about that. But anyway, let's move on to the midfield, and this brings me to the talking point number 3, and that's talking about the midfield balance. Now, I mentioned in my match reaction that I didn't think the midfield balance worked, and over the last 2 games, I don't think it has worked. I feel like there's not a real the chemistry between Chong, Clark and also Kraus. I don't think it really works, and I'm questioning which one should be dropped, and I feel like it's going to be Chong. For me, we don't utilise Chong's strengths. I think he's a natural winger. I think he's a natural winger playing as a centre mid. Doesn't really work for him. He likes to drift out to the left hand side and take on that fullback and try and create some openings. That's when Chong is at his best, when he's got the ball, he's dribbling towards players. I feel like in midfield it's a little bit difficult to do that, and I also noticed against Cardiff there was 2 players around Chong because they knew what he could potentially do. On his day, he's really unplayable. Yes, I do think he gets knocked off the ball quite easily. In fact, I think everyone in our midfield gets knocked off the ball quite easily. We're very lightweight in the midfield. But on his day, he can be really, I think he could be the best player on the pitch. That's how much of an impact he can do. However, I think for the balance of the team, I just don't think it works in a midfield 3, and I do feel like against Middlesbrough, we're going to have to change it. I would, of course, love Baptise to come into it. I do like Baptise. I've mentioned it loads of times on my videos so far. Very good technically, finds that killer pass. He's actually got really good dribbling ability as well. We're just not quite seeing it. He's got that. He has a bit of skill about him as well. He can glide past players. So I would like to see him come into the midfield. Whether the midfield 3 of Kraus, Baptise and Clark will work, I'm not too sure. I don't know if those 3 players have actually played together before, apart from against, of course, Cardiff midweek. Prior to that, I don't know if they've played together because we keep getting these little knocks in midfield. Baptise being one of those players that keeps getting these knocks. But if he can stay fit, get up to match sharpness, he can be a really good player for us. And you don't just have him, we've got Walsh as well on the bench, who's very similar to Baptise in a different way. So look, we've got these options now, so players should not be tired when I'm watching them play Saturday against Middlesbrough. You know, they should be fresh because we've got players available to start. And then this brings me over to talking point number 4. Elijah got dropped for Brown, and I did feel like Brown didn't have the best of games. However, what I really liked about Brown is, despite not performing at your very best, and to be honest, look, first start in a while, he still scored a goal. And that's something which our strikers don't often do. Over the last 2 years, I feel like it's been, our strikers need to have a bit of confidence in front of goal to score a goal. Whereas Brown, despite not being at his best, was still able to score. He scored with his, second opportunity in the game. His first opportunity in the second half. A fantastic header. It was a fantastic ball into the box. It was the first time I think the corner actually beat the first man. And it was an unbelievable header to make it 1-0 for Luton. And I want to keep seeing that because we can't just keep relying on the likes of Elijah and Morris to score the goals. Everyone needs to contribute. And that brings me over to talking point number 5. Why aren't we shooting from outside the box? Why are we not doing this? Now, the reason why I mention this in particular is because against Middlesbrough, the last time we played against them, which was away from home, when we won promotion in the championship season, Clark scored from outside the box. And it's something we don't often do very often. And throughout the game against Cardiff, a lot of their players were shooting from outside the box because they couldn't break us down. I don't understand why we don't do it. We always like to do that extra pass. We like and or put it out wide for a cross into the box, whereas sometimes the opening's there for us to do. Like there was a few times where I think Clark got the ball on the edge of the box, or Baptise, and they could have easily have got a shot in, but instead they're trying to, you know, put a ball through the back line for our strikers to get on the end of it. And I don't think we always need to do that. I think we've got the quality in our team to shoot from outside the box. In the Premier League last season, I think we only scored 1 goal from outside the box, and that was towards the end of the season. I would like that stat to get better. Every team I see us play against, they cut inside, they have a shot. I like Alfie to kind of do that himself, cut inside and have a shot. I want to see it more, because, you know, it gives us a different edge about our play. And if the keeper saves it, get the second ball, get the rebound. You know, be what's the word I'm trying to look for? Just be reactive on what happens in play. I wish we can actually do that a little bit more. But I'll leave that final talking point there. Those are my 5 talking points. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Don't forget to drop a like. And yeah, I'll see you in my match preview, which will be out tomorrow on Friday, and I'll be previewing the Middlesbrough game. So yeah, I'll see you guys then.